Hey, Ted, you know what we should do today?
Do a video?
That's what we always do, Ted. Let's do something we haven't done in a long time. We're going to do Unearthed Arcana. We're going to talk about Sorcerer and Warlock from Wizards of the Coast. And we're going to jump right into it today. Welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Dave, and as usual, I'm hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy Ted.
Maybe it's your first time visiting Ted's Basement. It's a place where we like to discuss news, views, and homebrews for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Sometimes we even talk about other role-playing games.
So if you don't want to miss a single video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and attune to that notification bell.
Alright, so we haven't done these in a while, but you know what? Let's do it. Let's do a video about Unearthed Arcana. It just dropped a week or two ago. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It takes us a little while to get these videos out. So we'll see if you guys are still interested in our take on the new Unearthed Arcana. So we're going to start with Sorcerer, and we're going to start with the Aberrant Mind. An alien influence has wrapped its tendrils around you, warping you in both body and mind. Perhaps a psychic splinter lodged in your psyche after you suffered domination by an aboleth. Maybe you were born somewhere tainted by the farm realm, a planar blot that changed you forever. Or perhaps mind flayers kidnapped you, subjecting you to the nightmarish process of seromorphosis.
Seromorphosis.
That's the word, Ted. But the transformation failed and left you unaltered. Maybe you notice I'm reading it from my phone. No, I'm not on the Wizards of the Coast website. I am on the D&D Beyond website, sponsor of this video. Did you know that the Unearthed Arcanas, when they come up, they go right over to D&D Beyond? You don't even need an account. For free, you can go check them out, as I'm doing right now on this video. We want to thank D&D Beyond for sponsoring the video. There will be a link in the description below to D&D Beyond where you can check out the Aberrant Mind as well as Lurker in the Deep.
Pretty awesome things here. First level, the Aberrant Mind gets Invasive Thoughts. You gain the ability to use a bonus action to magically create a telepathic link with one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. Until the link ends, you can telepathically speak to the target through the link, and if it understands at least one language, it can speak telepathically to you. The link lasts for 10 minutes. You know, it ends early. If you're incapacitated, you die, or use a bonus action to break the link or establish the link with a different creature. Amazing in so many different ways. Number one, it allows you to communicate with anything that understands a language without dealing with a language barrier. If it has thought patterns to be able to speak, bam, you can connect, you can talk to it. There's no saving throws. Creature can ignore you if it wants to, but you know, it's there. And there's no cost associated with this. Doesn't use spell slots. There's not a limited number of times a day that you can do this. It is just awesome. And I like telepathy. I like, the different things that it has the ability to do. And if you're looking to have that, Jedi power of, talking to someone's mind, bam, first level Aberrant Sorcerer, you get there.
Yeah, you're going to be able to use it to communicate with your party members on the sly, but it's also going to open up a lot of role-playing scenarios for you. And if you want to just do a one-level dip in Sorcerer and then go Druid, you can abuse the hell out of Wild Shape. And one of the disadvantages of Wild Shape is not being able to communicate. Well, now you can do that.
Yeah, so I think that's a lot of fun and a lot of things that you can do with it. First level, you also get psionic spells. Starting at first level, your aberrant nature changes your mind in subtle but profound ways. You learn additional spells when you reach certain levels in this class, as shown on the table below. There are sorcerer spells for you and don't count against the number of sorcerer spells you know, but they cannot be replaced as other sorcerer spells can. First level, you get Arms of Hadar and Dissonant Whispers. Third level, you get Calm Emotions and Detect Thoughts. Fifth level, you get Hunger of Hadar and Sending. Seventh level, Compulsion and Avard's Black Tentacles. And lastly, ninth level, you get Modify Memory and Rari's Telepathic Bond.
So one of the biggest disadvantages for playing a sorcerer is lack of options, lack of choices. You're very limited. Adding 10 spells to your choices is a big deal. That's going to be super helpful.
I've known so many sorcerers that, they're like, well, I'm a gun. I'm just going to take combat spells because I only get so many. You can look at this list and say, oh, there's a lot of really great spells here. But any of the sorcerers out of the player's handbook that don't have these added spell lists, they suffer from, that lack of spell choice. And you can't get some of the fun extracurricular spells that might be useful outside of combat. Well, these guys get them.
Next up, we're still in first level abilities. Warp Being. Starting at first level, your aberrant origin protects you from harm. Your body might have a coating of viscous slime, tough hide, scales, or an invisible sonic barrier. Choose the form of protection when you gain this feature. Whatever the form of protection takes, your AC equals 13 plus your dexterity modifier while you aren't wearing armor. And it also gives a nice little rule tip here. AC calculations don't stack. Goes on to say some other things, but essentially, if you have multiple ways of calculating AC, pick one. Don't add them together.
Preferably pick the one that gives you the best overall AC, but you know.
Next up, we have an ability called Sonic Sorcery. You get this at 6th level. When you cast any of the spells gained by your Sonic Spells feature, you can cast it by extending a spell slot as normal or by spending a number of sorcery points equal to the spell's level. If you cast the spell using sorcery points, it requires no components.
So I got to ask a question, going back to what you're saying. As it's a psionic spell, if I do dip into Druid and get wild shape, if it doesn't require any components whatsoever, can you cast sorcery spells while wild shaped?
I would say rules as intended, no, but it doesn't require any components. But also, I'm pretty sure Wild Shape just says you can't cast spells.
Well, there you go.
I would say no.
I'm just trying to jump the gun for the people who are already seeing that connection. The thing that I like most about this is the action economy that this saves you. Typically, a sorcerer has to use their points, use an action to create a spell slot from their points. They can dive right into it. This is something I think, all sorcerers should eventually, have gotten, but to finally see it, here, super, super amazing to just dive right in and be like, yep, stealing points, casting spell, saving those spell slots for later. Thank you.
It's very specific. Like, you can't do it with anything. It's just with these specific spells. So that's the limiting factor.
Yeah, very true.
So next up is Psychic Defenses. At 6th level, you gain resistance to psychic damage. Nice. You have advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened. So 6th level is a really big deal. You get a lot of cool abilities.
So I definitely agree with that. We wind up seeing some transformation powers as we move to 14th level and get Revelation in the Flesh. Beginning at 14th level, you can unleash the aberrant truth hidden within your flesh. As a bonus action, you can expend 1 sorcery point or more to magically transform your body for 1 minute. For each sorcery point you can spend, you gain one of the following benefits of your choice, the effects of which last until the transformation ends. So the first category, you gain a swimming speed equal to your walking speed and the ability to breathe water. Gills grow from your neck or fan out from behind your ears. Your fingers become webbed and you grow a lashing cilia that extend through your clothing. Second option is you gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover. As you fly, your skin glistens with mucus. Next option.
That's kind of weird. The slime.
The slime that lets you fly?
Yeah, basically.
Your body, along with your equipment you are wearing or carrying, becomes slimy and pliable. You can move through any space as narrow as 1 inch without squeezing, and you can expend 5 feet of movement to escape from a non-magical restraints or being grappled. That one I think is going to, help out a lot of casters, to just like, yeah, I'm going to slip out here. Thank you very much. Because it's a bonus action to do it. So you bonus action transform, spend part of your movement to get out of the grapple, and now you're free and can still have your action to do whatever you were planning to do with in the first place. Your last transformation is your eyes turn black or become writhing sensory tendrils. You are aware of the location of any hidden or invisible creature within 60 feet of you. Holy crap. I don't care if you're invisible and hiding. Bam! There you are. I got you. I found you.
I know where you are. I mean, it's cool because at one bonus action gives you one or more of these abilities, depending on what your needs are. So it's really cool that way. Being able to escape a grapple as a bonus action, pretty cool. Especially if you don't have Misty Step, or even if you do. Now you can just save the spell slot, use the sorcery points, and it lasts a minute. So if you needed to do it again, if a particular monster grapples every time it attacks, for the low cost of 5 foot of movement, you can escape that grapple every time.
Forget that. I'm fighting a battle. I spend 3 points. I get the ability to fly, to escape, and to see, where things are. So I get out of the grapple. I use part of my movement to fly up. Now I know where all of my opponents are, and they can't reach me with melee. Thank you very much.
Unless they happen to grab you again with that attack of opportunity. But then again, I suppose you could use another 5 feet and get out again as part of your move. Last up, we have Warp Reality. What does that do, Ted?
18th level, you become the focal point of reality warping anomaly. As an action, you can magically radiate a transparent 20-foot radius aura for 1 minute. This might take the form of a sphere of rippling psychic energy, a fluctuating amoebic gel, or an excursion of ephemeral parasites, or some other manifestation. Other creatures treat the aura as difficult terrain, and when they start their turn in it, they take 2d10 psychic damage. When you activate this feature, you can choose any number of creatures you can see to be unaffected by this aura. Remember, if you've got, hidden or invisible opponents, you can see them if you've done your transformation. As a bonus action, you can end the aura early. If you do so, you and any number of creatures you choose within the aura are teleported to a location you can see within 1 mile of you. Each creature must appear within 20 feet of you and in an unoccupied space. An unwilling creature that succeeds on a charisma saving throw against your spell DC is not teleported. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest.
So you have control effect going on, damage effect going on, and if you need to escape, you can do that as well.
And there's nothing to say that you couldn't use this ability to just teleport a little ways away and then have several rounds of ranged combat as your enemies are now charging you from a decent distance away.
So yeah, there's definitely tons of uses for that.
So next we go on to our otherworldly patron, the Lurker in the Deep. You made a pact with an entity that lurks somewhere deep in the ocean, or even in the elemental plane of water, such as the mighty Kraken, an ancient primordial, or a monstrous being from creation's earliest days. You serve as this creature's eyes and ears, watching the world beyond its domain and reporting your findings. You may have gained this pact as a member of a cult dedicated to the entity, or after your patron saved your life when you nearly drowned at sea.
So, as all of our Warlock packs, we get an expanded spell list. First level, create or destroy water, thunder wave. Second level, gust of wind, silence. Third, lightning bolt, sleet storm. Fourth level, control water, Edward's black tentacles. Fifth level, commune with nature, cone of cold.
They both get Edward's black tentacles, man.
Yes, well, it fits with the themes. So that's a nice mix of spells that you're going to add to your choices. Obviously, you're a warlock. You don't get that many spells, or you don't get to cast that many spells. But now, you've expanded. If you want to be able to throw fireballs, you go Fiendish. You want to be able to throw lightning bolts, you go with Lurker of the Deep. So, there's options. Now we get to their first level ability, Grasp of the Deep. This is a super cool ability. At first level, you gain the ability to magically summon a spectral tentacle that strikes at your foes. As a bonus action, you create a 10-foot long tentacle at a point you can see within 60 feet of you, decent range. The tentacle lasts for 1 minute or until you use this feature to create another tentacle. When you create the tentacle, you can make a melee spell attack against a creature within 10 feet of it. On a hit, the target takes die cold or lightning damage, your choice when it takes the damage. And its speed is reduced by 10 feet. So we get damage and a control effect until the start of your next turn. When you reach 10th level in this class, the damage dealt by the tentacle increases by 2d8. As a bonus action, on your turn, you can move the tentacle up to 30 feet and repeat the attack. You can summon the tentacle a number of times equal to your charisma modifier or minimum once, and you regain the expended uses when you finish a long rest. So as a bonus action, you just have an extra attack you're going to be able to do.
It's pretty nice. It offers, damage. Starts off at a die 8, goes to 2 die 8. That's pretty potent for just a bonus action ability. Warlocks are used to resetting everything on the short rest. So I like the fact that this is a long rest ability. You can only do it a number of combats equal to your charisma modifier. So if you're maxing that out 5 times a day, that tends to get, that's pretty useful. But, you might want to save them up as we get into other abilities.
I will point out real quick, nice synergy with the Tempest Cleric. The second level Channel Divinity, you can max out lightning damage when you do it. Maybe not worth it for this particular ability, but the 6th level ability where when you hit something with lightning damage, you get to knock it back 10 feet. So knocking something back 10 feet and reducing its speed by 10 feet for a net of 20 feet from its movement, essentially, is a nice control effect.
Absolutely. And we'll get more into that once we get to 6th level. But we still have Scion of the Deep at 1st level. Your patron accepts you into the inner court of servitors. You can telepathically communicate with any aberration, beast, elemental, or monstrosity that has an innate swimming speed. While within 120 feet of you, the creature can understand you and can respond telepathically.
So we're definitely seeing some crossover and some synergy here. between the two different origin or subclasses that they've introduced. Both of them have a telepathy ability. Both of them get Edward's black tentacles.
6th level, you get the Fathomless Soul. At 6th level, your patron grants you greater abilities. You gain the following benefits. You can breathe both air and water. You gain a swimming speed equal to your walking speed. And you gain resistance to cold damage.
Not bad. I mean, some of these are going to have limited use, but it's decent enough. But you also get Guardian's Grasp, another 6th level ability. At 6th level, the tentacle you create with the Grasp of the Deep can defend you and others. When you or a creature you can see takes damage while within 10 feet of the tentacle, you can use your reaction to choose one of these creatures and reduce the damage to the chosen creature by half. After doing so, the tentacle vanishes.
So I think you were thinking of, the combining ability was the 10th level. This one here is nice to be able to, absorb some damage when you've got something that is just so nasty that it's worth sacrificing a tentacle for. You might only be able to do these things so many times a day, but when that disintegrate is coming your way and it's got enough to bring you down, which puts you out of the game, like, yep, tentacle takes the damage and I'm okay.
No, the combining ability was 6th level Tempest Cleric, because that gives you the push effect when you do lightning or thunder damage. And we have several lightning damages that we're going to get into right now, actually.
So,
the Devouring Maw.
Starting at 10th level, you magically draw forth a manifestation of your patron's insatiable hunger. As an action, choose a point you can see within 60 feet. For 1 minute, a translucent maw manifests in a 10-foot radius centered on that point. Each creature in that area when the maw appears must succeed on a strength save against your spell save DC or be restrained. Any creature that starts its turn in the maw's area takes 3d6 cold or lightning, your choice when it takes the damage. And as an action, a restrained creature can repeat the saving throw, ending the restraint on a success. At the start of your turn, if there's any creature in the mall's area, you gain temporary hit points equal to your Warlock level. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest.
So this is a cool control effect you basically get to put on the battlefield. Maybe you can use that tentacle to, if you happen to have 6 levels of Tempest Cleric, then use that tentacle to whip them and push them back into the maw so that they get stuck there. Adding some more combat control to it. Again, we have another sidebar about temporary hit points. They don't stack. You just use the highest number that you have, but still it's a cool extra feature that you're going to get. Now, we're going to really get into the cool part when we're talking about that channel divinity from the Tempest Cleric when we talk about Unleash the Depths.
Starting at 14th level, you gain the ability to call upon your patron for aid. As an action, you choose a point within 30 feet of you where your patron tears through reality, manifesting a measure of its thalassic grandeur. Choose one of the following effects to issue from this manifestation point. Once you use either effect, you can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. Transport. You and up to 5 willing creatures of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of the manifestation point are grasped by spectral tentacles and yanked through your patron's realm. The tentacles teleport you and the chosen creature to a point of your choice within 100 miles that you have visited within the past 24 hours. The tentacles then vanish. Or if you're looking for fury...
I will say, though, with that transport, usually it's bad when you get grasped by tentacles, but in this case, it's a happy situation.
And they have to be willing, so yeah. Fury. You can direct a barrage of spectral tentacles to issue forth and strike up to 5 creatures that you can see within 30 feet of the manifestation point. Each target must make a dex save throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature takes 6d10 cold or lightning damage, your choice, and is knocked prone. On a successful save, it takes half as much damage and is not knocked prone. The tentacles then vanish.
So this is where that Tempest Cleric stack is really nice. Only takes 2 levels, Channel Divinity, and now you just max out 60 points of lightning damage to all those targets, the 5 targets. That is a lot of damage, and they're going to also be knocked prone, but if you happen to be it takes 20 levels to pull this off, but if you happen to be a 6-level Tempest Cleric as well, they are prone and knocked back 10 feet. So it's kind of a wicked combination. It's kind of cool. I like the synergy there between the two of them. And it kind of makes sense to, praying to something from the depths, ocean-based as well.
Absolutely. But we do get one other thing within the Unearthed Arcana, and that is a new spell. And this is called Mind Sliver. It is a sorcerer, warlock, or wizard spell. It is a cantrip. Casting time is an action, range 60 feet. Only has a verbal component, and it's a duration of 1 round. You drive a disorienting spike of psychic energy into the mind of one creature you can see within range. The target must make an intelligence saving throw. Unless the saving throw is successful, the target takes 1d6 psychic damage, and the first time it makes a saving throw before the end of your next turn, it must roll a d4 and subtract the number rolled from the save. And of course, like all cantrips, it scales up at 5th, 11th, and 17, adding further die 6 to each. The thing that I like about this, yes, sadly, it is a save or suck. If they pass their saving throw, they take no damage. But it is an intelligence-based attack, which there are not a lot of when it comes to cantrips. It does psychic damage, which very few things wind up having resistance to. I'm looking at you, Barbarian, out there. And you couple an intelligence saving throw with psychic damage on those Barbarians, and they've probably dumped their intelligence. So this is going to work.
This is really nice for a sorcerer because they can use this cantrip, and if it goes off, their next spell that they cast is then going to take that d4 away from the saving throw. But they're a sorcerer. They can heighten the spell and give disadvantage as well. So they can hit them with a double whammy.
And depending upon how your DM allows things, they could quicken the cantrip and have that go off as a bonus action, and then be able to use their action to cast a spell. So they're getting they're getting to make that save this round with that d4. So it's pretty harsh.
Yeah, it's a nice combination. It's pretty cool. What do you folks feel about this particular Unearthed Arcana? Are you going to play? Are you going to allow it in your game? Let us know. We got a place we can discuss it in the comments below. But before we head on out, let me take a moment to invite you to join Nerdarchy, the adventuring party, over on Patron. What can I expect there, Ted?
We're creating products for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons that both players and DMs alike can drop right into their game.
But that's not all. We do monthly giveaways, and our patrons are automatically entered.
We do weekly hangouts with our patrons and more.
So quest on down to the description, join the Nerdarchy Adventuring Party. And until next time,
stay nerdy.